Hi, this is a demo video on ZeroID, which is an identity infrastructure for autonomous agents. So before showing the demo, let me just explain or like give you a context on why this matters and why do we need ZeroID. So for example, let's say if we have a three AI agents pipeline, like three AI agents running in a pipeline, and in which we have an orchestrator and it has two sub-agents which it can call uh, when it need to perform some task, right? And all the three agents are sharing one service account. Now, in this typical situation, what can go wrong is, let's say, if one of the agent deletes some data from the database, and we have no idea like which agent did it and like who authorized it, and how to stop just the agent without killing the whole pipeline. Right. So Zero ID fixes this part. So Zero ID is a service which provides a cryptographical identity to each of the agent, which is unique to each of the agent. And each token, using each token, we can have a full trail of like who authorized it and what it is allowed to do. So let me just now I'll just show you a demo on how we can do that. So first, I have initialized the client. So this is a SDK which is connecting with to the backend services of the Zero ID. So first of all, we check the health and we get the issuer, like who is the issuer, the token endpoint, like the token endpoint of the service, and the allowed grant types. So what are the grant types allowed? Like we have client credentials, we have JWT bearer, token exchange, and API. So there are ways like it can generate tokens using these grant types. So first of all, in this pipeline, we'll first register our agents. So I've just used the same example. We have a fintech billing AI pipeline in which we have a billing orchestrator, and then we have a data fetcher and the invoice writer. Right. So first we register all of the agents. Let me just show you. Yeah. So we're using SDK to create the identities. In this, we pass the external ID. We have a name, identity type, and the subtype. We have a trust level. We have three different trust levels. And this is user defined on a user ID. And here we define the allowed scope. So like what this agent is allowed to do and other information like framework and description. So this is how we register a particular agent. And when in return, we get a WMSE URI, which is a unique URI for each of the agent. And it encodes who owns it, what project it belongs to, and its roles. Let me just show you. When we create the agents, we'll get a WIMSI MSE URI. Using this URI, we can check like uh, who owns it, what project it belongs to, and what are its roles. We can see the allowed scopes in there. Then we create second agent, and we also generate ECD as a private key for this data fetcher agent, uh, which in the later part, it so that it can prove its identity with the signed assertion. Right. And we have also created another invoice writer tool agent, and we have different scopes for each of these. So data fetcher has read uh, permissions, and invoice writer has a write permission. So this is how it created. We have uh, all the three agents, the roles, tool agent, orchestrator, allowed scopes, and WMSI URI. Now we need to create OR client using the client credentials, which will then be used to create tokens. Now, so first of all, first we create a client using uh, the request. We create a client. We have a name, client ID, and we have a grant type. So we are using client credentials as a grant type, and we are passing scopes. like what scopes is this OAuth client is allowed to do. Then it will give us a client secret, which is given to us only one time at the time of creation, and we need to use it and we need to store it, right? So I've created OAuth client in here, and we got the secret. Now we can use this client to issue tokens. So let's say it need to delegate his task to the data fetcher. So it need to create a token which has the scope of billing read and data read, right? So in this, we'll issue a token using the client credentials which we have, using passing the client secret, client ID, and we are passing the scopes and the account ID and project ID. So we get the token, and using this we can also decode the JWT token, and we can see the claims in here like this. So we have the agent WMSIURI, like who is it, its scopes, and identity type, subtype. Now we have created the token. We need to pass this token to the sub agent. So what we'll do, we'll exchange the tokens. So we are using RFC 8693 token exchange, in which orchestrator passes its token to data fetcher. So in this, we're going to use the private key of the fetcher to create a assertion, and then use this to exchange the tokens. So it will create a delegated token which the sub agent can use to perform its task. Now, like it has created, we have the delegation token, and like a delegation token issued. These are the token claims you can see, and in the ACT we can see the actor, like who delegate authority to this agent. Using this, we can fetch the actor, right? And this is how it works. So this is the billing orchestrator which delegates to data fetcher, and we have a depth of one. Now, if uh, we try to uh, get billing right scope using the token exchange, just which what we did previously, it will give us an error because it is not allowed to do that, because the token which we created only has billing read and data read scopes. So this is how we can basically create agent. We can then have a tokens, and this manages everything. Like zero ID manages everything. Now, if you have a token, you can also introspect, like it is active or not, and who is using it, and who is the actor, like who delegated it, like this. Then we can also revoke it. Like let's say the task is done. Now, if we want to revoke the token so that the data feature can't use it for next task, or it can't use, or it can't perform another task. So we'll just call the API and it will just revoke, and we don't need to wait for like expiration or anything. It will just uh, revoked instantly. Then also we have a CA signal, which is, let's say the pipeline is currently running and we detected something wrong is happening. So uh, we trigger a signal to the client, to the zero ID, and it will instantly revoke all the credentials which are delegated. So if I show you, so we detected a fraud detection, fires a critical signal, and it will revoke all the credentials. So we first created a fresh billing read token, which is done in here. Then we gave a signal which hit, and it revoked it. And we can also see the logs of like uh, who's the source and how it got revoked. So this is how we can use zero ID to basically manage the identity of the agents, and we can also block the agents to do certain tasks if they are not behaving in a particular way. So this is, and also we can create policies. These are the policies which are applied to the agents in a certain uh, account of the project.